Live.
Well, good evening, and welcome to VTTV. It is Monday, the 17th of November. I cannot believe it's the middle of November already, but here we are, and this is Drips and Tips with me, Davey, and my partner in crime. You know him as the Fury, or the Furious Fury, or the Fury 79, or the Furious Fury 79, or any other angry name. It is Mr. Andi Abrook. How are you doing, man?
So, ladies and gentlemen, my lovely pooples, how are we this evening? All good, I hope.
Oh, I'm sure everyone's doing very well. What are you vaping on this evening?
Well, I've got a nice little selection tonight. I've got a large bottle of strawberry orgasm, but I think I might step it up and go over to some creamy melons. But I don't want to over-sexualise things, so why don't you introduce the show and I'll play with me balls?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, let's just run the titles, please. Now, do it.
Should I get the magic sponge? That's a keeper. Try that again. Oh man. No cheat.
And that's a wrap.
So, here we are, Drips and Tips. We've got a fair amount that we want to cover tonight. There's been a few things in the news. I don't know what's going on there, but there's been a few news stories. There's been a few technical problems as well, as you might have just seen. But I want to talk about, there's a product, you know when you go into Facebook and you see these suggested adverts. Well, I was flicking through my timeline and I saw this thing called Chino. This is going back a few weeks. And I thought, oh, what's this? And it was, click here for your free sample. And I thought, is this a new e-cig company that I've not heard of? So I clicked it. Well, it's not an e-cig, but it was a free sample. And in October, it was free delivery. And I was due to do this a few weeks ago, but various things have happened since then, so I haven't got around to covering it. Now, Andi, have you seen anything about this before?
I've heard of it. I believe it's some sort of oral thing. That's about all I know about it, really, because when I saw it, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw it. So, but I thought I'm going to go ahead anyway and get it, and this is it. Free sample, you get 10 in them. 10 little strips. Nice little package. It's not bad.
Is it like those, you know, those strips that you used to get sort of in the early noughties, like fresh in your mouth with a little strip, and it was like having a big snot ball in your mouth?
I've got a feeling that's exactly what it's going to be like. But we were contacted last week via Twitter on VTTV from the people from Chino to see if we'd try it out. So I contacted them back and said that, look, I've already got a sample. I'll give it a go, and I'm going to give my honest opinion on it, and I'm going to try it out live tonight for the first time. Now, just you get this little box, 10 strips. Now, on the website, they claim that one of these strips is the equivalent of one normal cigarette. And I think all of us here hate that kind of phrase. It's just stupid. You shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for a pack of 10 of these strips, it costs £4.99 plus delivery.
That's about equivalent of a pack of 10, isn't it, these days?
It's more expensive than a pack of 10.
In comment already, straight away, Blaze is saying, I didn't read the instructions and it just stuck to my tongue.
Right, okay. Right, well, apparently you're supposed to put this between your gum and your lip and then leave it to dissolve.
So that'll be something like this.
Yes, exactly, like snus. But for an experiment, what I'm going to do is use this now and see how long it will last. So when I was a smoker, it would be between 45 minutes and an hour between each cigarette. So I'm going to use this and see how long it takes me before I pick up my e-cig. That is the experiment tonight.
Okay, folks. Well, I'll join you on that experiment with my tried and tested snus.
Okay.
This is I love the title of this snooth. It's Portion Thunder Ultra Strong. It's a menthol. And here we go. Quick last two on the old. E-cig, and we'll put that to one side.
Right, good. I'm going to open this up.
That's frosty.
And apparently this is lemon and mint.
Nicotino. That's a bit missing.
Come on, open the butter. Come on. There we are. Okay.
Oh no, I'm going to tell
And
you.
it's that tiny little strip.
Is that it?
That's it. And it's in.
There you go.
So let's see what happens.
Okay. Right. So.
I mean, what do you think of these kind of things? Is it this company, Nicotino, is based in Sweden? Is this
Interesting.
trying to come around the snooze ban and try it? And this is tingling my gum already.
It's an interesting sensation, isn't it?
It is very weird.
Yeah, it seems like you're having a similar sensation to what I'm having right now. It's because this is a very strong snooze. It sort of stings a little bit initially, but then it will go away.
But this is very, very gummy. It's making my mouth very dry and very gloopy. You know, back when I was a kid, in my youth, I experimented with funky jazz cigarettes, as people do. I wouldn't condone it, but it makes your mouth very...
Cotton mouth.
Yeah, cotton mouth. Gloopy. That's what it's doing right now. I can't feel my tongue. I've got to say, the taste isn't that bad. I'm getting a lot of lemon, getting a lot of mint, but I feel like the munchies are going to come on in a minute.
There are other Muppet songs available. You look special.
Yeah, I feel it.
You like that?
No, this is actually making my eyes water. Jesus, it's so stinging that bad. The taste, like I said, the taste is fine, but it's weird. How are you getting on with your snooze, man? Take over.
I'm used to it, man. Snooze is good. If I'm driving somewhere along, say with the mother-in-law, and she's not overly keen on me being a cloud chaser in the back of the car, obviously for safety reasons. You know, we don't particularly want to be driving at 90 miles an hour with a car full of fog. So I'll take the old snooze along, pop one in. I've had one last me up to 3 hours. So I get on very, very well with snooze. Very well with snooze. So, you know, it's it works for me. I mean, I remember I got it off one of the guys in chat actually. You look like you're about to vomit, Dave.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about to vomit.
Get it out, come on.
Oh, no, it's there now. It's stuck.
Stuck.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, right.
Dave was about to vomit violently.
I will say, right, $4.99 for a pack of 10. Okay, if you're a 20-a-day smoker, that's £10 a day. It's more expensive. Yes, I can understand the health benefits. I can't actually feel the health benefits at the moment.
Hey,
I'm sorry, Andy, you're going to have to take it.
Davey, remember all those times you said, right, we're on nasty juices, right? Ha!
My God. Oh, Jesus. Right.
This is how I felt with Worcester sauce, man. You sick person.
Yeah, that was nasty. That was a nasty juice. And I've tried some nasty juices before. But nothing as nasty as this. I've got to be completely honest. No. No.
Go ball of snot in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. Right. Okay, what's happening in chat, Andy?
Hang on. There's Stewpot Lee. These types of things don't address the hand-to-mouth dummy sucking that we like. Apparently, Sav needs to behave. I do believe she was giggling at your expense. And we might be keeping this for a bit of outtake stuff. So,
For the Dave Dawn #1.
Dave Dawn #1. Christmas #1. I think Davey is over nicking. I think Davey's ODing. I don't know about over nicking. Get out of your mouth, man. I'm actually kind of worried about you now. Are we going to have off chunder on VCTV ever?
I'm not going to chunder, but the lip tingling or the gum tingling is really quite bad.
That I'm going to presume it's something similar to what's going on here. And with me, it's gone now. Obviously, because I'm used to snooze, you know. It will go, persevere. But obviously, if you've got that horrible snot-like flavour sensation in your mouth, I'm really, really glad I didn't go for these now to give them a whiz, because your face is where I should have had my finger on print screen, because that would have gone straight to top.
You son of a bitch. It's starting to calm down a little bit now, but
we got a comment from Dribbly.
Sorry?
We got a comment from Mr. Dribbly. Dave's hand has been out his mouth for quite a bit, so must satisfy the hand to mouth. I think that's just Harry, to be fair. I'm so glad.
This claim that one of these little strips is the equivalent of one cigarette is stupid. I'm not getting a nick hit as such. I'm just getting a weird sensation in the mouth. And like you said, cotton mouth, and it's still there. But I need to have a drink. Gotta have a drink.
Mr. Dribbly again says, we all know you're just pressing the glue back in place on the top.
Yeah.
Look at this, by the way. Oh, actually, that's a good question. How is your November going?
It's going well. I've had some cash donations come in.
I've had.
But people online aren't donating. Come on!
We'll get staff to put the links in towards the end of the show, and we'll force people to part with money for us to grow mustaches.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because my kids hate me having this.
I think you look dapper.
Yeah.
There we are, yeah. So, I'll be calling this a resounding success or failure or somewhere in between. I mean, obviously, the equivalency to X amount of cigarettes, we all agree, at least here on this particular panel, that that's just BS.
Yeah.
But I can safely say what I'm using right now is good enough for me to take it, say, like a long coach journey. Could you do that with that?
Absolutely not, because already I want to reach for my e-cig and have a vape. So I haven't got the nicotine hit that they're claiming that you should get from it. Especially as they're saying 1 milligram in one strip.
1 milligram of nicotine, that's less than what I'm on in my e-cig.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how they quite claim that. I don't know how they can go about claiming it, but obviously they will have some reasons for doing that. But there you go. It's calmed down. It's gone down. Oh, thank God for that.
Have you got sensation on your face back?
Yes, yes. The lip is working again. So it's a resounding failure, I would say. And I'm sorry to the company, but it's not for me. It might be for some people, and if they want to try it, great. But for me, no.
It'll be interesting to see if anybody in chat has actually tried Chino.
Yes, if you have tried it, let us know.
Because I think, was it Blaze? I'm presuming, Blaze, you tried it. Davey, your Movember link, please, into the personal chat here. So, Blaze, if you've tried it, how did it feel for you? Did you enjoy it? Did it feel like a lump of booger in your mouth? I'm really glad I didn't try it. One of my friends has got it as well, though. I think next time I see him, I might grab one off him and just give it a go for the experience. But I can, judging by your face, we should do it together for a VT.
All right, next time we're out together, I'm going to keep these.
Rightio. Do they have a shelf life? Actually, is a good question.
I don't know, actually. It doesn't say anything on the box. No, there's nothing on here.
Obviously, e-liquid has like a sell-by date. I mean, we at work today, we did a massive separation of going out of date juice and out of date juice. So, you know, just sort of whilst that's fresh in my mind, it'd be interesting to see if there's one on there.
No, absolutely nothing. Let's check the actual pack. No, it's got a lot code on it.
Lot code?
Yeah, so like a batch number, but it hasn't got a use by date. It's got all the warnings on there. But no. No.
It's got all the ones that we like.
Yeah.
So it's got the
packaging itself is fine. I mean, I wouldn't complain about that at all. It's got all the warning information on there. It's got the ingredients on there.
Out of interest, what are they?
Ingredients are sodium alginate, water, glycerol, sorbitol, nicotine. Oh, not sorbitol. That's going to give me the shits later. Sorry. Language.
Twice now. I'm going to have to come up your ass and like a house.
It's got sodium hydroxide, natural lemon oil, natural peppermint oil, and titanium dioxide.
Titanium dioxide?
Titanium dioxide, yes.
Nice, that's white tattoo ink.
Right, and I've just put that on my gum. Nice.
Right, shall we stick a pin in that? Because
yeah, I think so. Let's take the adverts now. And when we come back, we've got some news stories we want to look at, so we'll catch you in a bit.
Tech UK are proud sponsors of vapetrails.tv.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from Cloud.
Vapers, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
And we are back in the room, and Andy's vaping already, so I guess the snooze is gone.
Yeah, it's a bit strong.
Yeah. I've had a challenge from our very own Dave Kitson.
I think you should so do that.
Right, let's put it to chat. Apparently, I should try chewing it, if that works. So I think I already know what chat's going to say, but chat, if you'd like to let us know.
Hang on. The finger is poised on print screen. Poised.
Again, you son of a bitch. Right.
Bitch.
So we can find out what chat is saying about that. But in the meantime, we have a news story to cover. Andy, something from the government, I believe.
Yes, government. It's on the gov.uk, and once again, mentioning Dave Kitson, I'd like to thank him for this, because we did struggle for a few stories this week, and this is one I heaped. Now, I shall read the initial sort of paragraphs. The government has today, 17th of November 2014, launched a number of measures to boost the safety of e-cigarettes in response to increasing concerns over the number of fires caused by their use. Responding to a growing number of incidents caused by faulty e-cigarette chargers, interesting words, the Department for Communities and Local Government has put forward a number of tips to help consumers stay safe. Fire Safety Minister Penny Mordaunt, it sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings, MP, said, "Fire safety is our first priority, which is why in Electrical Fire Safety Week, it is important to make sure consumers have access to good advice on these products coming from the government, mind." Easy, Davey, easy. Including tips on how to minimize any risk of accidents from overcharging or faulty chargers. To help consumers use e-cigarettes safely, the Fire Kills campaign, because that's not...
Well, I think people kind of know fire kills.
Offers the following tips for these products and general advice on Electrical Fire Safety Week. Now, it's interesting that we should be covering this because yesterday, whilst I was doing my RY4 radio show, my night core, I've got 2 of them, decided to pop. Now, that wasn't because of any particular fault with the charger or the batteries, and the batteries were safe. It was because of human stupid. My human stupid. I really shouldn't. I shouldn't have plugged it into a gang. And it was a particularly old one as well, so it popped. And thankfully, nothing was damaged. My own fault. I take full responsibility for that because I was doing human stupid. Now, let's look at these points, shall we? Follow the instructions provided by the manufacturer carefully. Take notice of any warnings supplied with the product. Ensure that e-cigarettes are not left charging for long periods of time. Do not leave e-cigarettes plugged in overnight or when you are out of the house. I'm sure Dave Dawn will have something to say about that. Look for the CE mark that indicates chargers comply with European safety standards. Do not overload plugged sockets. Numpty. Check that your electrical products have not been recalled. Avoid buying counterfeit or substandard goods, and switch off appliances at the socket when not in use. Davey.
Right. I will say that I think it's good that we're getting this kind of stuff coming out from the government because they're obviously taking notice. But on the flip side, this is the kind of thing we have been saying since we started vaping. Be safe. Don't be stupid with your chargers. Use the right charger for the right device. Make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. Is that not correct?
Yes, it is. It's exactly what, I mean, the sort of message, I mean, the overnight thing, I'm fairly certain Dave Dawn, we may get Dave Dawn in later on, actually, depending on how he's feeling. But I'm fairly certain what with the advice that he gave a little while back about the whole USB charging thing.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain he'll have something to say about that. So, but, I mean, all these are common sense, which admittedly is a bit of a superpower days. And why people don't look or use these little notes of common sense is beyond me. But like I said, human stupid. I suppose we have been ingrained over the last couple of decades to just presume something out of a box, brought off a shelf, a shop, should work. We have become the ultimate consumer.
Yeah, there is that element of it. I mean, I think if Dave is free, can we bring him in? Can he have anything to say about it?
Well, we shall soon see. Okay,
yeah, let's bring Dave in.
Dawn.
Hello.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Hello. Right, before we get any further, I'm more than happy to come in, but apparently, I have to restart my Hingoot because it's telling me I need a different plugin or something. This is.
Oh, is that?
No, it's
good old technology. Yay!
So I'll dive out and I'll dive straight back in.
Okay, we'll catch you in a bit then, Dave.
I'll be back in 2 ticks.
I can turn it back on again.
Yes, turn it off and turn it on again. Apparently that works because it's special. I'll be back in a minute.
Don't.
Whilst we're Dave Dawn for question 1. Whilst we're waiting, we'll go through a couple of comments on our dog because he's trying to get into the room. Blaze, this advice isn't aimed at us. We're experts. Lol. E-cigs do cause fires, and info should be more out there. Good advice in his opinion.
I agree with that. Yeah, good advice.
If the government are going to get in, that's how they should be doing it. Just put it out straight up, simple common sense. Be safe. Don't do stupid things. Moonlit says, shouldn't be specific to e-cigs. The same applies to anything with a lithium battery in it.
Yeah, completely agree. It is just common sense, isn't it? So, Dave, please.
Right, look, the bottom line on all of this is if chargers and everything are constructed properly, although the advice that they're giving at the moment is very sound, we do need to see chargers being properly constructed in exactly the same sort of way that nobody thinks twice about plugging their tablet device or their smartphone or anything like that in overnight. It's common practice for everybody to plug them in overnight, wake up to them fully charged in the morning. That level of safety is the level of safety that we should be entitled to expect from any piece of kit. But what's bugged me more than anything else about all this e-cig causing fire thing is they're not looking at how many fires are caused by faulty electrical appliances, by chip pans boiling over, by cookers going AWOL, and all of the other things. The numbers don't even stack up. E-cig fires account for less than 1% of all fires nationwide, and although they're growing, you would expect that given the number of people using e-cigs now, because there's bound to be some faulty ones. I suppose they are right in that, yes, there's lots of counterfeit crap out there, and seriously, honestly, if you buy a USB wall wart or if you buy a charge lead and it costs you an awful lot less than you would expect, the chances are the quality is going to be an awful lot less than you would expect. And seriously, there's no point in scrimping. There really isn't. It annoys me that people will come up and say, oh, I'm not paying £10 for a charger when I can get one for £1 off the market. Well, if it blows up, you've got nobody but yourself to blame. Buy good kit. I'll shut up, or I might swear.
I completely agree with you, Dave, because, I mean, when I first moved on to 18650 mods, I bought a charger with a 2-pin plug and an adapter plugged it into a wall. And I think we covered this on Team Talk a while ago. And it was really wobbly. And I thought, hang on, this isn't going to work. And take it out, throw it away and get a decent charger. And that's just common sense, isn't it?
Absolutely. When I bought my first 8652 mod, it was a mech. As we know, I love me. Love them. I deliberately went to the time a reputable online retailer, did my research, watched countless hours of video, and brought a reputable charger, a reputable battery, and a reputable brand of e-cigarette. Because even then, it was like, be safe with your batteries, be safe with your batteries, be safe with your batteries. And it seems to be just a common sort of recurring theme. The guys watching getting fed up with this because we keep coming back to the same thing. I mean, you've got an interesting comment from Reptile King here. The government actually cared. Trading standards would have done more about the faulty ones I bought from our local market. Tiny battery, nails taped to it. I've had that myself. Brought into the shop as well that I had. And they've done nothing, and apparently deep rubbing. But that I think
that's a very valid point.
Yeah.
There's also, I mean, from when we were kids, we've always been told with batteries, you treat them with care, you dispose of them properly. Surely that should be the same mentality with e-cigs.
It's the same mentality that anything battery operated. RC planes do. Like if I had time to run up into the loft, I can show you the damage. To use the colloquialism David Dorn himself put, a lithium polymer battery going postal. The plane was just barely saved. And I've now got to send it off to a specialist to be refurbed because I can't do that level of modelling. Because the cockpit is FUBAR. Because of my own human stupid with that particular battery. Okay, and I've been doing RC since I was 5 years old. You know, that's a long old time to be doing something. You'd think that I've got a good level of knowledge, but you know, sometimes these things happen. It was the same with my night call last night. Yeah? You know, yeah. I had that brief moment of human stupid. Thankfully, I was quick enough off the bat to A, stick some tunes on, B, get to that charger, unplug it, unplug the gang, which subsequently unplugged the computer. How it kept going, I have no idea, but I managed to get it all back in before everything died. And I've now got 20 quid's worth of charger that smells like burnt.
But that's the thing. I mean, the thing we need to think about is that we've got, yes, there's a level of human stupid, and most of it is human stupid, but there is the element of things going wrong. It's going to happen from time to time. But also then you've got what Dave was saying, where it's, look at the percentages. When you consider the amount of fires caused by e-cigs,
But that's my point though, Dave.
compare it to the amount of fires caused by tobacco cigarettes or cigars or whatever tobacco product you're using. It's incomparable.
Yes, but that's the point though. Even though human stupid caused that charger to go postal, human clever got in the way and stopped a fire occurring. And this is
because you'd done the research beforehand. You knew exactly what to do and how to stop it.
right. Exactly right. Sorry, we've got a comment in the chat there. Just distracted me. You know, is right? I've done the research. I've done the looking up, and that I didn't become a part of that. What was it? Dave said less than 1%.
Yeah.
I stopped myself becoming a part of that less than 1% because of my own silly. Right, now again, I'll accept responsibility for that. I'm not going to blame the manufacturer of the charger. I'm not going to blame the manufacturer of the plug gang. It was me. But in a way, this is a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it, really? We've got all these safety things that we've been adhering to and we've moaned about in the past and loathed. But I've got a question that's just sprung to my mind. Dave Dawn says nothing about us without us.
Yeah.
Were manufacturers or users consulted before this announcement was made?
That's a very good question, and probably not, I'd say. Dave?
Well, no. I mean, in a situation like this, it is in effect a safety warning. There's no need to consult anybody about it because the advice that they're giving is sensible advice. There's not actually a need for consumers to be involved. It's consumers that are being informed. I actually think it's quite a good thing because it does make people think about what's going on. What really annoys me is that the advice applies not just to e-cigs but to any lithium-ion battery-powered device.
Which is pretty much everything.
I assume that there are even toothbrushes that are powered by lithium-ion batteries, and I assume that they have a stand which they stand on to charge. Certainly my wife's has, and that in most households, I would think, is permanently plugged in, permanently sat on the side of the sink, and the toothbrush permanently gets shoved back on it. If there's an issue, it applies as much to that toothbrush as it does to an e-cig. I think there are issues, and I think we have to acknowledge the issues in that there are some, I'll use the term vendors, but it's not exactly the right one. There are some people out there selling e-cigs who are buying extremely cheap, who are not doing any quality control, who haven't researched the market, and they are basically just seeking to make some money. That's the nature of business. They are, I think, entitled to expect when they buy product that it is what it says on the tin and does what it says on the tin. The problem is they're buying from sources that have no intention of conforming to CE quality guideline markings and all of that kind of stuff. And therefore, as I said earlier on, if you find a USB wall wart that's charged at, priced at £1 to you, what price is the seller of that thing buying it at? And if he's buying it at 50 pence or 60 pence, what the hell does it cost to make it? And seriously, is that the right price to pay for your safety? If nobody bought these things, then they'd stop selling them and realise that people were only going to buy stuff that's of good quality. And if you do that, then, you're looking after your own safety. I mean, I can't say this too often. People always, no, not always, but quite often people buy too cheap because they don't understand what it costs to build a good quality product that isn't or is much, much less likely to blow up in your face. And that's the issue.
That's the point. I mean, when I started using them ago, I had an option of buying something which was about, I think it was about $5.99 from a local market. But instead, I went for a full starter kit from a reputable company, which was, I think it was $49.99 at the time. And I thought, well, I'd rather go for that and know what I'm getting. And I'm not saying that all market sellers are dodgy, because there are some good ones, but I thought I'm going to go for this because I've researched the company and I know that I'm going to be safe using it. And like you said, Dave, that's the point.
Shall we finish that on a comment from Gould, as I like to call him, because I can't be faffed with the full name there. Graham Entwistle. Why don't we still get public service announcements? This is an ideal one. Electrical rechargeable device safety.
Well, I'm pleased you have mentioned that, Mr. Chumley Warner, because this is something I've been speaking about for quite some time. The government is concerned about your well-being when it comes to rechargeable devices containing lithium-ion batteries. We would advise you to use these things that have been properly tested by the UK authorities and properly read the instructions that come with them. Should you not do so, then your safety is at risk. Thank you, Mr. Chumley Warner.
Oh, Andy, I hope you got the soundbite of that one. Dave Dawn for Christmas #1, and on that point, we will take the ads.
Techno remix, dude.
Absolutely.
LP Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquids. Proud sponsors of vaping entertainment on Vapor Trails TV. RY4 Radio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ha! Beat you to it, Dave.
Yeah, you did. Well, just before we carry on, you'd be interested to know I'm back to vaping again. Pretty much half an hour after using that nicotino.
I still think you should chew the 9 of them, but anyway, we digress. Future guest of our show, Phil Basardo, received an email. This is passed on to us by Matt Garish, so once again, fella, thank you very much for this. And it simply starts off as disgusted. Now, this is interesting to me as a retailer. It goes a little something like this. Hey Phil, I live in southwestern PA, which I think is Phoenix, Arizona. Correct me if I'm wrong, American viewers. And I am becoming very disappointed in the stores in my area. Now, let's put a pin right there in this particular person's area. Not all stores are going to be like this. Most cater solely to dripper users, and there are a bunch that start setups, and if they do have them, the selection is very limited. I have friends who have walked in to get a starter setup, and the salespeople tried to talk them into RDAs, RBAs, and high-end mods. They called me, and told me, I'm presuming what they would like to start out with. I gave them advice on what I started with, and they said that is what they wanted. Then they told me that they felt a lot of pressure from the people working that they needed to get more involved with rebuildables. I fear that with this growing industry, these stores are forgetting that new people start every day and don't want or need these high-end pieces. I just wanted to tell you that I appreciate when you say, if you aren't smoking, then it's working. Beautiful sentence, that. I just wish all these stores felt the same way. I do use more high-end pieces, but even I feel pressure. I was just criticised for using rebuildable tanks and not a dripper. And I quote, how can you even use those? They don't even compare to a dripper. It's a shame. I'm getting very discouraged about even still being involved in the vaping community because it means that vape snobs are ruining the whole experience. Thanks for listening. Now, Phil Basardo obviously makes a comment on that, and hopefully we can talk to him about this particular thing when we do get around to getting him on the show. But this is the bit for me that hit the hardest. It is also important to understand that not everybody wants to drip or rebuild or use some crazy high-powered or expensive device. No matter what you use, be very, very proud of the fact that you don't smoke anymore. Now, where I work, we sell exclusively to newbies. Yeah. They ask what I use, I tell them what it is, and that they should ignore it for now, because I've been vaping for a lot longer than they have, and I've done a lot of learning, and you know what, just start with this, see how you get on. If you take to it, then start thinking about making that jump to third generation. So this isn't just an American thing, it is a worldwide thing, I should imagine. You get this in UK stores as well. I could name several. I'm not going to, because that's not the point of this. But guys, if you know newbies that feel pressured, point them in the right direction.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? It's going back to the research, and we've all done our research. We've all started at some point, and then looked into it more and learnt more, and got to know what we were doing before we took the plunge, say, into dripping or into RDAs, whatever. It's interesting as well. We can actually, because you've got the retail point of view there, we can bring Daz into this as well, because Daz is in retail as well. Daz, how you doing, mate?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me on the show, even though I'm here every week in the background.
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
so what's your view on this?
Okay, well, I can say, in all honesty, that our sector in the shop, 80% of our customer base uses a Gen 2 device. Out of the 80%, 30% were existing users, the rest were converts from us. 20% are Gen 3. Out of the 20% that were Gen 3, more 15% wanted to make the conversion, 5% kind of seen something and went, oh, what's that? the thing for what's most important for me is it needs to be whatever suits the user. I have a hard enough job explaining why they don't want to buy a 350 milliamp hour Ego battery and why they want an 1100 because they like a 350 milliamp Ego battery because of the size of it. Whereas I'm trying to say, well, no, because you're not going to get a full day out of it, let alone push something that's a high-end product on them, like a dripper or something, is going to entirely scare them away. And I wouldn't dream of doing it. I wouldn't absolutely dream. I wouldn't even entertain looking at a Gen 3 unless they have an expressive interest. If it's easy for them to use and, you know, on a day in, day out basis, and they're getting the satisfaction out of it and it's helping them to stay off cigarettes, that's what I'm more interested in more than anything else. It shouldn't be, you know, oh, you need a dripper, you need to be in a club. It's not what it's about at the end of the day. What it's about is it's about them being able to make a successful switch and stick to it.
Exactly, and that's where it means more responsible retailers need to be, especially this time of year. We're coming up to New Year, aren't we? And people are going to make the New Year resolution to quit smoking, and they might make the switch. And we need retailers to turn around and say, well, start with this, then try this if you want to, but if you're happy with that, then stick with that.
Davey, the other thing we have is existing users of Generation 2 who want for Christmas, for example, you know, there's a girl at the shop that I go to, very local to me, just across the way. She's a vapor. She comes to my shop, she buys her stuff. She's quite happy with her spinner type device and her clearomizer. Her husband wants something a bit better, so clearly she knows that I know me stuff to a degree, and she's like, what can I get him? He wants this, he wants this, he wants this. My first question was, what is he using right now, and what does he know about further devices? She was honest, and so was he. I'll give him this. He goes, I'm fairly certain I'll need to learn about these sort of things. And I went, well, how about this? We set you up with real sort of slightly more advanced Gen 2 or slightly less evolved Gen 3. And I said, try an MVP with a large sort of capacity tank and see how you get on. Things with replaceable coils.
Yeah.
Completely happy. Absolutely just fab. He's well excited that he's going to get this for Christmas underneath the tree. He's like, we're going to get a big box mod and all this sort of thing. For me, an MVP would be virtually useless. But that's because I use these, you know, dripping atomizers, silly coils and stub-ohming and really high ampere batteries. Point of the matter is, he doesn't need it. Yet.
Exactly. I mean, you mentioning Christmas there. I mean, my first mod was a Vamo, and I looked into it because I was using the Ego constantly. And I looked into a Vamo, and lots of people on the forums were saying, oh, you should have a look at a Vamo, get a Vamo, get a Vamo. And I learnt about it first of all. I wouldn't have just gone ahead and gone, right, I need that because it's got a dripper or because it's got this tank or whatever. I learnt about the different things first of all, and then went ahead and did it. And that's the thing, that's the point I'm trying to make, is all vendors need to be saying this stuff to people. I mean, obviously you, Andy and Daz, you're doing the right thing, but there are so many vendors out there who are not doing that.
I think
how do we go about changing that mentality?
Can I dive in?
Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
I tell you what I think. If you're going to go and buy a bike for your wife, for you, or for one of the bands for Christmas, the majority of people would go somewhere like Halfords and buy a bike. Do you know what I mean? A mountain bike, a road bike, whatever it happens to be. But if you've got an 18-year-old that's had his Halfords bike and he's got the bits and bobs and he's added bits to it and done the rest, and he's seen the X Games and he wants to get into the heavy hobby, Then he's going to go to a specialist retailer to get the kit that will allow him to go fleeing down a ramp and do all these somersaults and twists and grabs and God knows what that they do in the air. Same with skateboarding. This kid's kicking about on the streets on skateboards and they're quite happy going down hills and turning corners, and they might try the odd slide, but when they want to get the stuff to do the heavy hobbyist stuff, they'll go to a specialist shop. And seriously, it seems to me, if you've got people that are working in an ordinary retail outlet that are not capable of dropping down to where the bulk of people are, they need to go and be working in a cloud chasing shop, a shop that is set up specifically for cloud chasers. All of this heavy dripping stuff. At the Irish Vape Fest Ireland that I've been at over the weekend, I'm telling you now, just about everybody was walking about with, guess what, an iStick, with, guess what, a Nautilus Mini on top. That seemed to be the kit de rigueur. There was lots and lots of other stuff as well, but the cloud chasers were in a different league, and people were looking at them and going, God, that's really clever, but actually it's not for me. Just a thought.
And an exceptionally good one as well, David.
Yeah, good point.
Because I like to see that cloud. I sit and watch my little screen here and see the cloud exude. You know, that for me is the satisfying aspect. I want to finish this piece off, because we've only got a couple of minutes left, with the final words from Phil Bardo in this particular article. We vape. We don't smoke. Simple.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
That says it all. Says it all, doesn't it?
Doesn't matter. You vape. You don't smoke. Newbie.
If you're vaping, whether you're using a Cigalite or an Ego or a Vamo or 134, it doesn't matter what you're using, you're vaping, you're not smoking. And that is the main thing.
An interesting comment from I am Siegfried. Question: how do you feel about a B&M building RDAs for people who do not know how to build coils? Hopefully, anybody offering that service would be like myself. I'll happily teach anybody how to build a coil.
You've been trying to teach me. I can't.
Yeah.
Head right, but still.
But hopefully, B&M stores, when we say B&M, bricks and mortar,
yeah,
people behind the counter should have that knowledge, and it's quite easy to tell that knowledge, because if they screw it up, it's going to go south pretty quickly. Thankfully, all the ones that I know locally to me are very savvy, and they know their stuff. I personally, if this is a big one, huge if the people know what they're doing, then yes, that would be fine by me. But I would say, on the whole, it's probably not acceptable. You just don't know who would give it a go. I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be careful. Again, we go back to human stupid. Right, on that note, Andy, do you want to wind things up?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do remember, after tonight's show, we've got Reggie with his Onky Tonkin stuff on RLF4, and that's going out 9 o'clock every night, 10 o'clock every night, with Rob Taylor on Tuesday, Nicky Tranter on Wednesday. I'll use that fella on Thursday, DJ Bob, and Tim on Friday, Gaz with the Saturday set. Tomorrow we will have, as always, Marco and Gary. Wednesday we will have The Cave with Matt. Thursday we will have the ubiquitous David Dawn and Top Pocket Keith. God, I love that man, he's awesome. Friday, obviously, no show. Saturday on mrdesvapor.co.uk, actually seen the advert early in the show with Saturday Night Shenanigans, and of course Sunday, David Kitson, who I generally tend to forget for unbeknownst reasons, with his tackle box, and then it's me on Sunday afterwards with Smash Up on LF4 Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been gorgeous. I've been a Fury. He's been an empty.
Andy, you didn't mess it up. You're supposed to mess it up.
I've been practicing in front of the mirror.
You sad, sad man. Right, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we will see you all tomorrow night. Take it easy.
Peace.